Now, in this video, we're going to be looking at, well, past habits. But first, this thing. And I want to show you this. It's a dumbbell from the gym to remind you that when we're doing exercises and when we're doing the fluency here, what we're really doing is we're exercising our mouths. And one of the first, that's heavy. One of the first important things around fluency is your ability to exercise and use all the muscles in your mouth, tongue, and down at the throat here, right? In some languages, people speak like this and they don't move their mouth and they're not used to talking. But in English, you need to move your mouth. A lot of the sounds come from the front of the mouth. So that practice is critical. In addition, of course, you need fluency by processing ideas, and that comes a lot more from conversation. But remember, here we're looking a lot at working out. So, past habits. 3 things we can do, 3 ways to talk about past habits, things I did in the past. Simple tense, simple past tense. So, for example, I walked a lot when I was young. It's true, right? I did. I walked a lot when I was young. So it's the subject plus the verb plus the ed. If it's regular, I walked. If it's irregular, then it's just the subject plus the irregular verb. I swam a lot when I was young. I swam a lot when I was young, right? We can use used to. I used to swim a lot in my childhood, right? Subject plus used to plus the verb. Used to actually becomes used to. Actually, it becomes used to. Used to. The D drops. Used to. I used to swim a lot in my childhood. The third is would, right? Subject plus would plus verb. I would swim a lot as a child. You can contract, but actually very often, in order to emphasize it's the past habit, we don't contract here. We would say I would. I would swim a lot when I was a child, right? In the negatives, well, I would, I wouldn't swim a lot. Used to, I didn't used to do that. Past simple, I didn't walk a lot. I didn't swim a lot. Did not definitely contract, right? I didn't swim a lot as a child. Great, that's the grammar. Let's look at some questions and answers. So remember, repeat with me and let's exercise the mouth. Did you do water sports as a child? And you'll notice here the question gives you the clue about the past habit, right? Did you do, right? Did you do water sports as a child? Yes, I did. D. Yes, I did. I used to swim a lot. D. I used to swim a lot. Most weekends, actually. D. Most weekends, actually. Right, excellent, great. All together, yes, I did. I used to swim a lot. Most weekends, actually. Lovely, very, very, very good. Possible substitutes for most weekends, actually. At least twice a week. I used to swim a lot, at least twice a week. I used to swim a lot most days, as a matter of fact. Great. Remember, most days, that T is dropped. Most days. Most days, as a matter of fact, means really, actually. I used to swim a lot. Most days, as a matter of fact. Or whenever I could. I used to swim a lot. Whenever I could. I look around like that. Whenever I could. Excellent. Next question. Again, you can hear the cue. Did you take art classes when you were a child? Yeah, I had to do art classes at school. So here, sorry to interrupt, I had to, because it's emphasizing it was obligatory or mandatory, there's a real stress on the had. Yes, I had to do art classes at school. Good, I'll try not to interrupt again. D. Yes, I had to do art classes at school. It was mandatory, you know. D. It was mandatory, you know. Whole thing, have a go. Yes, I had to do art classes at school. It was mandatory, you know. Nice. So possible substitutes. To do art classes, well, to take art classes. I had to take art classes. I had to go to art classes. Take part in. I had to take part in art classes at school. Very nice. Excellent. Good. So let's move on. Have a look at another positive and negative answer. Did you, yes, you, eat a lot of sweet things when you were younger? Honestly? Yes, I did, to be honest. D. Yes, I did, to be honest. In my family, D. In my family, we would have a dessert after dinner most days. D. We would have a dessert after dinner most days. Great. We would have a dessert. You can use pausing very effectively here, right? Not hesitating, but pausing. We would have a dessert after dinner most days. D. That pause is actually very powerful, and it's a nice technique to use. It helps you chunk your language, right? We would have a dessert after dinner most days, right? You can say we would have a dessert after dinner most days, but that's harder. Using those pauses sometimes can be very powerful. Great. Also, possible substitutes. A dessert, well, that's after the main meal, right? The main course, we have a dessert, or in Britain we call it a pudding. We have ice cream for pudding or yogurt for pudding. But you could say some kind of cake. We would have some kind of cake after dinner most days. We would have something sweet after dinner most days. We would have some kind of dessert after dinner most days. Hunky-dory. Excellent. Great. Now, what about a negative answer? Oh, did you enjoy learning English when you were a child? Not really. I didn't like it much. Dee. Not really. I didn't like it much. I often used to skip English classes. I often used to skip English classes. To tell you the truth. To tell you the truth. Altogether. Not really. I didn't like it much. I often used to skip English classes, to tell you the truth. Great. I hope that's not true, but it might have been true. To skip classes, of course, is to not go. To not go. To skip. To play truant, we sometimes say as well in English, British English. Great. So there's a possible negative answer. I didn't like it. I often used to do this or do that. Great. Okay, that's it. Let's move to the next unit.